you can tell through this podcast or have dealt with code enforcement or in this profession, not everything is so cut and dry. There's a lot of gray area, that a lot of, angles we have to work, a lot of things we have to do. Just because the sheriff's department doesn't want to do thing, or a police agency, or can't do anything, doesn't mean that we cannot or go a different way about it. So I don't know. It was good. I had a great time talking to him. It was awesome.
Oh yeah. I think that was spot on. Good relationship. We've interviewed different people, whether it's professionals like us in this industry, leaders, but to bring somebody like him in that interacts with code from the different angle, I thought that was just a great episode. Yeah. So, and now we're, on to episode 25, which I think is a big milestone.
So what is that like? I think we've missed a week here and there, which is fine.
Yeah. Not too much.
25 episodes in already.
Yeah.
That's a quarter of 100, right?
It's a quarter.
Right? Math right? Quarter of 100.
Yeah. 1/4.
Man, we're 1/25%. Yeah. Let me get that 1/4 burger you got up there on that menu. A quarter.
Get a 1/4 cake, celebratory.
Go to
cake.
McDaniel's. Hey, let me get that McDonald's quarter pounder. No, let me get that 1/4 burger.
1/4 burger.
Let me get that 0.25 burger you got there. I was thinking about the guests we've had, and I was like going through my head. I was like, oh yeah, we did have Aaron on. We had James on from environmental, from the solid waste side of things, from trash and stuff like that. And I'm like, man, we've had assistant city managers. We've had a lot of different people, presidents of KCO and
directors,
department heads. Yeah, it's been pretty cool. So I hope we continue to go forth and conquer with having these different people on, because I hope we've painted a good picture and have tried to tie it in code to all these people. Like, maybe not though, right? Like, I guess
well, I think it's also the fact that we're coming from our whole focus is the locker room, which is correct. We're laughing, we're shedding light on the good, the bad, the ugly, and we're just, giving tips, ideas. I thought it's been really rewarding and pretty cool to hear some feedback over the weeks, that whether from different episodes, something that we said or a guest said, and to hear people tell us, oh, I tried this or I did this at my agency. That's awesome. And that's what we hope to do.
That's what we want. That's exactly
share info.
Yep. Hey,
so it's good.
You said it very well. That's exactly what we want. This is just a learning thing. It's a place for everybody to come, listen, and just kind of like, and talk to us too.
It's a safe space.
It's a safe space. Circle of Trust.
Locker room.
Right. What is that movie? Circle of Trust? What is that? Old school?
The Circle of Trust.
Right. And he starts describing. Yeah, starts describing what's going on in the circle.
You're my boy, Blue.
Wife kicks him out. Ends up sleeping on his buddy's couch because he, thought they were in the Circle of Trust. So if somebody tells you that, that's not always the case. So, if someone ever came up to me and was like, "Hey, you're in the Circle of Trust," I'm gonna be like, you know what? I've seen this before. I'll be okay. I'm gonna be a little more reserved. Maybe dive everything.
You keep your circle.
Yes, I'm my own circle of trust, and I choose to let people in. So cool. So I don't know if you've we've discussed this, or what have you thought about like case management?
I think that's a big topic for what we deal with,
and we'll digest everything and dissect it all. But I mean, what comes to you right off the bat if someone were to say case management? And I say that because you see it on interview panels, you see it on job descriptions. Like almost everything I've ever seen that has to do with code enforcement or something like that, it always talks about documentation, case management, or something along those lines. I mean, what do you think about that, like right off the bat?
I mean, just like you said, I think you talk very broadly. It's everything from how you do inspections to documentation to the actual case management. I mean, if you just do the word itself, you're talking your software programs, your paper files. So, I mean, it's very broad. I think, for me, I would hone it more into just describing the strategies to manage your cases, because really we're case managers. And at the end of the day, we're kind of looked at our proficiency on, are we able to open and close cases in an efficient way? And if you can't do it the right way, you could have software programs, you could have all the bells and whistles, but I think case management comes down to is how do you manage your cases as a person? And like you said, it could be on interview panels, it could be a part of all kinds of things, your eval. But yeah, definitely. I think dissecting, looking at what is good case management,
Yeah.
what kind of things can help you with case management. Because if you can't manage that, then I mean, it's gonna be a tough
It's
career
kind
in
of what
code
we do.
enforcement. I know.
Right. Exactly. I think there's different levels to it because earlier you talked about, the good, the bad, and ugly, and that's what we do here. We've worked at places or been places or currently are at places potentially where maybe your system or your process that's in place as far as documentation in your case management maybe is not the best, or maybe it's really good. I think it really depends on, you brought up, what was it, or the technology is like
Yep,
one of the things you
technology.
said, right? Like software. And we talked about this with a couple guests before. I mean, that's a big part of it. Not to keep harping on that type of stuff, but I mean, your program, whatever you have software wise, I mean, we're in what, 2022. Okay. We should all have some amount of, reasonably good software potentially. Like I said, not everyone.
God, you hope
Yeah, I don't
so.
know. You would hope, or in the process of doing it or tweaking it or updating it, whatever. But I mean, really, it kind of starts and ends there. Otherwise, you're still doing this whole paperwork trail. You still got files, you got like accordion folders, you still got all this stuff. So, I mean, just to hit on that one little thing, I mean, software is big. Software will let you do a lot of different things. I mean, I don't know.
There's some that are, I think, better than others. The last few cities
Yeah.
I've worked at, I've used one of the common ones, Track It.
I keep hearing about that. I've never
It's hard.
used that.
It's hard to learn, I think, at first. It's got a lot of great potential, but because it's been bought and sold so many times, it's just been a little chaotic over the years trying to
Oh,
get
really?
it to the full potential. But I've heard good things about the agencies. I know when Johnny was on, he brought up a few, what he did at his agency, but there's a few that are specific to code, and
Mm-hmm.
which is good because they know what we need. And so, the Comcates, the GoGovs, there's a few of those out there.
GoGov I used to hear about a lot too. Or
And I've heard
Go
good things about
Enforce.
GoGov.
Do you
Yep.
remember? Have you ever heard that? I don't even know if that's a thing anymore. Is it Go Enforce?
I haven't
It's
heard
a
it
funny name
recently.
because it's like go enforce.
Yeah, get out there and
go
enforce.
go enforce. It's like a commandment. But we're in the process of getting Tyler. I think it's
I've
Tyler
heard of that one.
Technologies. And it's supposed to be very like encompassing. It's supposed to building and planning, but you can tailor it to code. So I'm looking forward to that. You mentioned Comcate. They had us, shout out to them because they've been just on their blog. So that was pretty cool.
Top podcast.
I haven't used them. Yeah, they mentioned us as the top podcast on their blog. Maybe it's just because ours starts with a C and they went in alphabetical order. I
don't think so.
I would choose not to think so either. We'll just go ahead with that.
Looking for sponsors.
Yeah. So there's different things out there, but I don't know. Let me dive into the definition of case management real quick before we get too off topic.
Very
Before we
studious.
start like diving into it. Well, I pulled it up right now. You can probably hear the keyboard clicks. That's how I do things here. Let's see. Definition of case management, according to the old Google machine, the practice of case management is a professional and collaborative process that assesses, plans, implements, coordinates, monitors, and evaluates the options and services required to meet an individual's needs. Boom. It's a lot.
That's a big word pie right there.
I know you like that. Professional and collaborative process.
I like to say it's the definition is managing cases.
Well, your definition is wrong. So, according to this,
Hey, tell me how you really feel.
Yeah, that is not right. No, I don't know. I guess this is one way of. Think about it: assesses, plans, coordinates, monitors. We kind of do all those things. It may seem like a very small pie on your case, like you're just a little sliver of this big organization, but that's what we do. Evaluate options, meet the services, required for a certain case. Yes, it's a mouthful, and I'm joking. Like your definition is just as good. It sums it up just as well as mine. But it encompasses all that. If you think about every case that you have or what you do, think about all the little steps that all has to do with your case management, prioritizing, documentation, all that stuff.
Well, and to your point about technology is not essentially case management, but it makes it more efficient potentially.
Correct.
And
you don't have to have it. It's just
you don't. No. And I know I actually was talking to a friend of mine a week or two back, and his agency is a pretty large one here in Southern California, and from my understanding, has a pretty good budget.
Oh yeah.
And they still use Word doc and Excel to manage every one of their cases. And he says he averages about 50, 60 cases at a time. And they don't have any tech whatsoever. And this is a pretty large and I feel wealthy agency.
Okay.
And they have, I would say, upwards of 36 employees for code.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, I don't. We've talked about this with, I think, Johnny.
Yeah, we did. We touched on it.
Is it a tech problem, or is it you don't have the right people problem? You know, because what are the two things? It's like, hey, we need more people to do our job. It's like, well,